What's up guys, my name is Orions and I am back with another episode. Finally, like I told you in the last episode, I was doing some things with my life, and now that those things are over and we're finally settled in our new location, I can finally get back to doing what I do best, which is entertaining you lovely people, you 4 or 5 people that watch my videos. But hey, entertainment is entertainment no matter the scale, right? Right. If you can't tell by the title today, I thought I would tell you guys about my first ever trip to, what did I just blank? My first ever trip to California. You're probably thinking, Orions, plenty of people go to California. What makes your trip any different from other people's trips? Well, I don't want to preference it and like give you it all in one go, but my trip to California, I feel like it's definitely not a normal trip to California, a first one anyway, because anytime I tell people about the first time I went, they're like, bitch, what? You did all that? Why didn't you just go and do like touristy stuff and like just see the sights like normal people do? Because bitch, I'm not normal. I'm not normal and I'm not basic. I'm extraordinary and extra. Well, kind of extra. Actually, no, I'm really extra. I've also realized recently that I'm actually really extra and really chaotic. And then like, I just sit and marvel at things that happen to me. And I'm just like, bitch, why is all this shit happening to me? And it's just like, girl, do you not pay attention to your actions that lead up to the circumstances that you get into? Like, out of all the things I need you to be right now, I need you to be fucking for real. Let me preface this by saying I have a long history and love for California. I've always wanted to go and see it, and just, I don't know what my infatuation was with the state itself, or just with going there, or like the idea that I had made up in my head about it. And it wasn't just all the movies that made it seem glorious. It was kind of just like, I don't know what it was, but I had like this deep fixation that I wanted to live in California. I wanted to live there because in my mind, growing up, I always associated California with peace and with freedom. And as I'm older, I see that that's not the case, but we're not here to talk about reality and the current state of the state. We're not here to talk about it because that's a whole different video all but entirely. In my mind, I always had it fixed in it that I wanted to go to California and I wanted to live there. I wanted to go to school there. At one point in time, I wanted to go to UCLA, and then I was like, you know what? I actually want to be a filmmaker, and I want to make, well, actually I want to make TV shows, and I want to be a TV show runner, and I want to be a writer and all that jazz. So I changed my vision to going to USC instead. And if you know anything about me, I actually don't go to either, and I still love both colleges dearly, and I actually went to go visit USC not too long ago, but I love both colleges dearly, but college just wasn't in the plans for me right now. I kind of just want to like work and like create, you know, entertainment for you guys. So that's where I'm at with my life currently. I was not in the best financial place whatsoever to go to California or go on a vacation or go on a trip really. Well, I probably could have swung a vacation to somewhere less expensive, but I didn't want to go to somewhere less expensive. My whole life I wanted to go to California, and nobody wanted to save up and take me and buy me a ticket. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. How old was I at the time? I think I was like 20. Yeah, I was 20. I was like, I'm 20. I work hard as shit at a job that I cannot stand. I should at least take some time and enjoy that money. I think I had like $3,500 in my bank account max, like $3-4 grand in my bank account max. I was like, you know what? I do not like my job, so I'm going to quit. So at the same time that I quit my job, I decided that I was going to go on a vacation. That being said, I had to plan my trip accordingly. Know anything about planning a trip on a budget, you know that you have to stay within a certain threshold. So I had $3,500 to work with, right? That being said, $3,500 and having a hotel in California, because my plan was I was gonna stay for a week and a half and I was gonna stay in a hotel. Well, I got to looking at the prices in California for hotels at the time, especially the time that I was going, so the prices fluctuate depending on the time you go. And I was looking at the prices and I was like, God damn, girl, I'm gonna end up spending the bulk of my money on a hotel. So I was like, okay, I need to look at cheaper alternatives. So the cheapest alternative that I had found was a hostel. Now, right off the bat, once again, staying in hostels they can be a nightmare, and they are their different video, a different episode, all of it entirely. But just to say, my experience staying in a hostel was it was decent. There were some shady characters that stayed there, but overall it was decent. Really, people were just like moving in and out, and it was no big deal. Now of course I was staying with my mom at the time, and she was freaking the fuck out. Like it was bad. Like she was not having it. She was like, why would you stay in a hostel? It's so dangerous. Someone could have involuntarily used your body and done things to you. Like, why did you do that? And like, she still chastises me to this day about staying in a hostel and tells me constantly that I make poor decisions. And I'm just like, ma, please. Anywho, it was gonna cost me, I think like 50 some odd bucks a night. So that would equal up to being, I don't even know, I'm not good at math. I don't remember how much it cost. It was something 30 to 50 bucks a night, and I was staying for, what was it, like 10 nights, something like that. And I was like, you know what, you can't beat that, especially when it comes to these hotel prices. You just can't beat that. So I decided to stay in a hotel, and while my hotel was something that I felt like I could skimp on, my flight, for whatever reason, I just felt like I could not skimp on. Like, I was like, you could put me in the cheapest hostel that you got, but your girl's not flying anything less than what she wants. So I'm a Delta babe through and through. A lot of people prefer Southwest. I love Delta. She gets me where I need to go, and she gets me on the earliest flight possible, and she gets me there safe and sound. Rarely ever any delays, rarely ever any, you know, problems with the plane. Like, it's just nice, smooth sailing. So I flew Delta. Ticket was about $200-300. That was fine. As for getting around in the city, now the hostel that I was staying in, it's the Freehand LA. I was staying there, and that's like right in the heart of downtown. Now that is centrally located, so I didn't really have a hard time getting around and going to places, and you know, going from A to B. You know, I was like, okay, I'll take a Lyft or an Uber, whichever's cheaper. Lyft is cheaper in the city, if you didn't know that. Like, if you're in LA, like the city, or like around it, Lyft is much cheaper than Uber, so just take that hint, thank me later. I remember just saying, hey, I'm just gonna take Lyft. Now, I actually had decided, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna take the bus. Like, get a Metro Pass and take the bus. Bitch, was I wrong? Was I wrong? So when I got there my first day, I was planning to get a Metro Pass, but I was taking a walk around the city, and I actually almost ended up getting hit by a bus when I was trying to cross the crosswalk, because I had the right of way, but the bus driver was like, I'm on a schedule, I'm not stopping. So he didn't stop, so he just like kept going. He drove, and he just kept going. Like, he did not care, and he honked his horn at me, and he just like took off. So I was like, okay. So if I can't count on the Metro to care about my life outside of the bus, why would I entrust my life inside the bus? So taking the Metro was out, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna fend for myself with Lyft, and we're just gonna see what it does. We're gonna fast forward a little bit, get to I wanna say the night before I was going on the trip. So it was in the middle of May. I was super jittery. I was packing all my stuff. I was having a good ass time. I was listening to music. Or was it the day before? Something like that. I was packing my stuff, and I was having a good time. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a great time, and this is gonna be great. Now, I just realized I should probably tell you why I was in LA in the first place, or why I even got this idea that like now, at this specific time, I wanna go. So I preference it like it's a vacation, but really I was going there for a concert. So I've been following this guy on TikTok. You probably know him, Jaden. Show a picture right here, right here, right here, and right here. Like, you know what? He's having a show. He's going on tour. I'm gonna go see him in concert. Now, my original plan was to see him when I was back home, because he was coming to Texas, he was coming to Dallas. And I was like, you know what? That'll do, that'll suffice. Let me see how much tickets are. But I was like, you know what? Why don't I, because I've been wanting to go to California, why don't I plan a trip to go out to LA and watch him in concert? So I planned this trip with that in mind. So I was planning my outfits, and I was planning my outfits. I was making TikToks saying, oh, I hate living in the city. Such. So I was planning my concert outfits, and I was planning my regular outfits. Now, at this time, it's May. So if you know anything about the weather in Texas versus California, I thought the weather would be a little nicer and it would be like, you know, warm, like, you know, a little warm, mild, like it was in Texas. Now at the time, it was hot in Texas. So I that was my mistake. I planned according to the weather in Texas, not to the weather in LA. And that was my first mistake. So when I got there, I was virtually kind of freezing, because when I looked at the weather and it said 70 degrees, I was like, oh my God, that's great. I was thinking of Texas 70 degrees, not California 70 degrees, but then again, how could I have any way of knowing what a California 70 degrees feels like? Say California 70 degrees is a lot colder than a Texas 70 degrees. Let's just put that out there right now. So I was packing all my outfits, I was really excited, and then not only did I pack all my outfits, but I overpacked as well. So my suitcase was super heavy. So when I got to the airport, my bag was like over the limit was like over the 50-pound limit by like, actually no, it was under it by like 3 pounds. So I was like, oh my God, thank goodness I barely made it. So I was packing my stuff, I overpacked, and I didn't know that I overpacked. I just packed a bunch of shoes, a bunch of clothes, and then I called it a day. I packed my books, I packed stuff to entertain myself while I was there when I wasn't going out, whatever. But I couldn't even go out for like half the time that I was there. I'll tell you more about that later. Then my flight took off later that night, well, later that morning at 6 a.m. So I had my brother drive me to the airport, and my flight was set to take off at, I believe, 6 a.m. and it would arrive in Cali at 7:20 a.m. Now that sounds like the flight is only an hour and 20 minutes, but if you know anything about time differences, or if you don't, let me enlighten you. So how the time difference works is, if it is one time in Texas, it is going to be the Midwest specifically. It is going to be 2 hours back in LA, in California. So let's say it's 5 p.m. in California. It's going to be 7 p.m. in Texas. Or let's say it's 5 p.m. in Texas. It's going to be 3 p.m. in California. So the flight was actually 3 hours long, but because of the time difference, it makes it seem like an hour and a half. It makes it seem like an hour 20, hour and a half, but really it's 3 hours long. I woke up, well, I didn't wake up, I never went to sleep. So I had my brother drive me to the airport, and I got there, I was all excited, I was watching the planes, I was making TikToks, I was having a great ass grand old time, just going, like, just at the airport. Now mind you, I love airports. Other people, everybody's like, I hate airports, I hate airport security, I hate it all. Me personally, I actually really like airports. I like them a lot. I like the airports, I like flying with Delta. Like, it's just, the airports are always a great experience for me all around, right? I go to the airport, I'm about to board my flight. It's like 5:40 when I board the plane. Now mind you, they board planes in classes, and I was basic economy. I was like, girl, as long as I'm on Delta, I do not care what thing I'm flying. You could probably put me in in the cargo hold, and I'm chilling. Now mind you, it was early as fuck and I had not slept. I really wanted to go to sleep, but at the same time I really wanted to take it all in and soak it all in. Like, your bitch was really going to California, and she was really about to do something that she had been wanting to do for so long. Like, let me break it down for you. When you go to places that you've been wanting to go to for so long, like let's say you've been wanting to take a trip to Paris for so fucking long. I know it's a basic example, but bear with me. Let's say you've been wanting to go to Paris for so long, and you finally go to Paris. You're finally booking the ticket, you're getting on the flight, you're flying straight there, and you're going to Paris, right? There's this cognitive dissonance that grows in your mind whenever you're thinking about something for so long. Instead of actually doing it, you're just thinking about it and romanticizing it in your mind for so long. It grows, and there's like this big gap. Cognitive dissonance is, as I can best describe it, is just this gap between what you want in your dreams and like your actual reality. And when you finally close that gap, may I just say, it gives you a dopamine rush like no other. So there was no way that I could possibly go to sleep because I was so freaking excited. Like, that gap was closing and I was just so fucking excited. Like, I loved everything. I loved every moment. I was sleep deprived as hell, but I was loving every moment on it. I'm on the plane 3 hours later. We finally get to LA, and your bitch has touched down. we get to LA, and I'm in LAX. I had heard so many things about LAX. I heard it was a nightmare. I heard it's shitty. Honestly, LAX in the mornings, I can vouch. LAX in the mornings is fine. LAX in the afternoon, you're fucked. I've flown out of LAX I think one time in the afternoon, and like it's a nightmare. Like she needs help. She's on life support. That's what it is. She needs help and she's on life support. So I touched down in LA, right? You know, we're at LAX, a famous California airport. We're there, and your girl's just walking through, having a great time. I go in the bathroom, I change outfits because I wanted to look fine, you know? I wanted to look fine as hell, and I wanted to look like a bad bitch, right? I come out of the bathroom, and then immediately something doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right, and that's the weather. California is always depicted as this sunny, just paradise, beaches, nice weather every day, and I can confidently vouch and say that that is not the case. That was not the case when I was there. And even when we were descending from the sky and the plane was coming down, I could see that that wasn't the case, because it was just so doom and gloom. Like, babe, where's my sunny California? Like, where's my sunny LA? Like, please. Like, it was not, the sun was not sunning. She was not giving me her warmth. She said, bitch, I'm out, I'm taking the day off. And I looked out the window and I was like, bro, why is it so fucking gloomy? Like, what? I was like, why is it so fucking gloomy? But I was like, you know what? Hey, maybe the sun will come out later. Maybe it's like Texas and they have bipolar weather. No, babe, it was gloom and doom all day. All day. Well, kind of, a little bit. Mind you, my hostel, they weren't doing check-in until 10:30. Now, I said earlier, my flight landed at 7:20. And if we know anything about Delta, Delta gets you where you need to go when you need to be there. I got there at 7:20. It was about 7:35 when I realized, oh shit, I got like 2-3 hours to kill before I can go to my hostel. So I sat there. I didn't sleep, obviously, because I'm not gonna sleep in the airport. I have this thing about sleeping in places that I don't trust. I feel like everybody does, but you'd be surprised. Or I feel like I can't get comfortable in. So I just stayed awake for those 3 hours. I don't even remember what I did. I think I just like watched my footage that I had filmed. Hey guys, so it's a little dark and the lighting's not the best, but I just touched down in LA. And I am looking bomb. I did something to that effect, but I did something to pass the time. And when it was finally time to go to my hotel, I was like, oh shit, I'm like hungry as fuck. So I went to the In-N-Out that was right by LAX, which is like a really like popular kind of like I guess famous In-N-Out. I think it's like the first In-N-Out that ever was like built. I don't even know, but it was a popular In-N-Out, and she was busy. She was bussing. She was bustling. She was busy. She was doing the damn thing. When I went to the airport, I should probably say before I went to the airport, I didn't want to get like a lift from the airport to the In-N-Out, because it was gonna cost me some money, like a lot of money, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, it's just right there. I was like, oh, it's like walking distance, you know, it's like, you know, right over there, I could just walk. Bitch, looking back, I should have got a lift, because that was a far walk. And then I didn't take into account that I would have to be lugging around this like giant pink overpacked suitcase. As well, like I did not take that into account. So for like, it felt like a mile. The next mile, I had to lug this giant pink suitcase over the bridge and to the In-N-Out. And then finally I got there, I ate, and then I called my Lyft, and then I finally headed to my hostel. And I got there, and then that's kind of when shit hit the fan. But before I tell you about that, take a look at some footage that I took when I first got there. Yeah? All right. So I just spent like the last 45 minutes getting ready in the bathroom. But LAX, it's decent. I mean, there's nowhere to sit because I'm sitting on the ground, obviously. But it's nice. At least it's clean enough so I can sit on the ground. But just look what it looks like. It's just, I don't know, pretty bland. No service down here though, because I was on the phone and my call dropped. but I'm here, I'm excited, and I'm probably gonna like chill here on the floor for a while and then head to a cafe so I can continue editing this video. But I'm super excited, and let's see what's to come. Yeah.